This whole skit just reveals like something about it. People have been dunking on it left and right. And I get it. It's a skit. It's funny. It's whatever. But something about it, I feel like, reveals how these people think. Everything is bureaucracy. Everything is just a business.
Divine bureaucracy.
What does that mean? You
love
said that
it.
like I should know what that is.
We talked about this with the movie Soul, about how like
How do you remember? That was 3 years ago.
No, I think because I think about it all the time. I mean, The Good Place was the same way. It's just the system of government that you are under changes how you perceive heaven.
Welcome to The Crunch, the only podcast hosted by two little alien corpses found in Peru. It's your boy, Ethan.
And I'm Patrick. And this is The Crunch, a little podcast where we try to find out if Catholics can be funny. And it's taken us a while, but we'll get there. It's taken us at least as long as it took them to put together. It's taken us much longer than it took for them to fabricate those alien corpses. I'll tell you that much.
Dude, I'm gonna tell. We gotta talk about that. Before we talk about that, did you know that 3 days ago was our 7-year anniversary of podcasting? And
I did know that. I did know that. Yeah.
We didn't make a peep about it. We didn't say nothing to anybody.
We didn't say nothing.
Our mods in our Discord reminded us. Yeah, it is.
That's true. They did.
We're getting long in the tooth.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you don't really celebrate 7 years. It's like we'll celebrate when we get. It was every year until 5, and then it was like we'll see you at 10. We'll see you at a decade, and then we'll celebrate. I'm so excited.
10-year anniversary.
10 years, we got to do something. We got to do something big.
We do it on 9/11. We have to. Someone look up what
our
day,
first episode was posted on 9/11.
Our first episode was posted on 9/11, not on purpose, but it's funny because the first episode was called God's Not Your Wingman, and I just happened to upload a picture of Tom Cruise in a fighter jet from Top Gun.
I uploaded
a cover photo.
Yeah. I uploaded a meme. Did you see the meme that I uploaded on 9/11?
No. On 9/11.
It was removing a block from a Jenga tower, and the tower was...
Oh, dude.
One person caught it. One person noticed, and I was like, no.
Patrick. Those are the types of things that when they do our documentary, they're going to be like, was this a cry for help? Was this a sign that Patrick had been working with the insert foreign government that you think was responsible here?
Someone was like, you really posted a tower meme on 9/11? And I was like, yeah, not only that, the tower is falling. On a person.
Yeah.
Not great.
No, it was an accident. We keep having these
unlike 9/11,
terrorism
which was on
faux pas. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. But I think whatever day, hopefully 9/11 in 3 years is on a Friday. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know if that'll be the case. It'll probably be on a Thursday. But if it is on a Friday,
we could find out now.
Yeah, we could. Well, I want the audience to look it up. Leave me in suspense. Don't tell me.
I
tell
won't
me
tell
on
you,
Discord
but I'm going to look it up
after the fact. But I want to talk about these. I want to talk about these Mexican aliens before we get into anything real.
Dude, you nailed it. It's on a Friday.
Did I really?
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's go. We're gonna rent a bar. We're gonna have little finger sandwiches. We're gonna have. But we're for sure not going to have 2 finger sandwiches standing upright next to each other. That we're definitely not going to do that. They're all going to be we're all going to be on their own table. There's not going to be
every
any way
sandwich.
There's not going to be.
No one's allowed to stand next to each other. No one of the same height is allowed to stand next to each other, especially not if one has a little antenna.
Yes.
And the other one doesn't.
Right. No one of the age of 11 is allowed to come. No one of the age of 9 is allowed to come. No one that was born in 911 is allowed to come.
No one who was born in 2011 or 1911 is allowed to come.
We just don't want there to be any questions asked. We want this to be an above board 9/11 podcast party.
We're going to
Okay?
have the party start at 9:12, so at no point in the night is it 9/11.
What if we if we do have the party, it probably should start at like 7 p.m. But we do have to have a moment of silence at 9:11 p.m. on 9/11. We would have to do that for the people. Anyway, did you see Mexico Congress and what they put together?
No.
Really?
No.
You haven't seen like the memes floating around?
Mexico Congress?
Yeah, you didn't see the hearing, you didn't see you saw none of this. You haven't seen the two little guys in the coffins
I
that they
saw the
wheeled
little
out?
guys, yeah.
You didn't what you just assumed that was what? Like at a party? Like what did you think that was?
I saw the two little guys. I figured they found it in the ground, and I figured that it was meaningless. What?
Oh man, you have so much to learn. They
look like little idols. That's all they look like.
They look like the Pachamama. Here's what happened, and this is crazy to me. So I was watching this show about the Mexican aliens, and then my grandpa started yelling about the wall, and I turned off that channel, and I flipped to another channel, and I started watching a different show about the
aliens if
Mexican
they're
aliens.
here. All right, that's.
If
they're not aliens. They're just citizens.
The hearing started. It was an independent, like a congressman in Mexico called this hearing. So it wasn't like an official.
Over there, they call them Congress hombres, but go on.
Congress hombre. And he called this meeting on his own. It wasn't like a group parliament action, right? The king of Mexico
just called a meeting.
Yeah, you can just call a meeting. And he said the cameras can come and all these things. But it wasn't like official. But it was kind of official because it was in a government building hosted by a government official, So anyway, they start by showing some pseudo official. If it was hosted by a female congressperson, it'd be pseudo official. And they start by showing videos of unidentified aerial phenomena, right? So they're showing videos of the lights in like the triangular and trapezoidal shapes. We've all seen these videos on the History Channel. They start by showing some new footage, high definition, pretty good stuff, enjoyable if you're into it. After that part is over, they bring out these two boxes and they just open it up, and there's just two little guys in there in the boxes. And it's just like, it's so funny because I'm reading the Reddit thread as people reacting to it, and they're like, "Whoa, new UFO footage, awesome!" Like, "Oh, I've seen this one before. Or I've seen something like this, when I was out on the ocean." And then all of a sudden, like the part where the little guys get wheeled out, and everybody's like, they just have alien bodies that they brought out. But it turns out that they found these near the Nazca Lines. Are you familiar with the Nazca Lines?
No, I am not.
The Nazca Lines are you don't know about this?
No.
Really? You never seen Indiana Jones 4?
Mm-mm.
Anyway, you really?
No, I mean I did, but it was like, like when you watch the prequels, the Star Wars prequels when you're a kid and you're like, oh yeah, the Senate and the Federation and the trade routes, and you're just like, I don't know, man. When are they gonna fight with the big laser swords? That's how I felt with Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I was like, when are they gonna run through a city? When are they gonna fight with swords on jeeps? I don't care about the plot,
You're such a cerebral 12-year-old,
Yeah, I was conscious of my lack of consciousness.
Patrick's reading through Intermarifica in the showing of Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, critiquing it on the Vatican II's standards of media consumption.
It was when Blu-ray had first come out, and my friend had a high definition television, and I remember going, "Whoa,
ooh,
this is it's so clear."
The first and last Blu-ray that I purchased was the movie 9. Like the number with like the little animated puppets. I don't know. Not really my thing. I watched it once. Now I have it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It's kind of how Blu-ray goes. But anyway, so the Nazca Lines, there are these huge, like if you look at them from a plane, which you couldn't
Okay.
look at from when they were made. They're these huge like drawings and these lines that appear to be pointing in a certain direction. There's a lot of theories about them, like why are they there? Who built them? There's like there's not a lot of solved mysteries as to why these lines are in the ground, making these huge painting or these huge like drawings that no one could have seen, like the full scope of them, from the ground. So like, why did they make them? There's no
Unless they were
clear like
UFOs.
right, exactly.
Unless
There's
the
no clear
U
like
yeah.
center. There's no like temple. There's no altar. There's no religious obvious things that you would see in other places. I think it's a landing strip for UFOs. That's just me. But they
Mm.
found
Mhm.
these two little guys at the Nazca Lines, and then they got passed around, and eventually the Mexico government finds them, and they're analyzing the bodies, and they're like, they're analyzing. They analyzed the. This is what I want to say. So they're two little guys, but I don't think they're aliens. I actually think there's something much more insidious, because they were
They look
analyzing. They're
like
like, oh,
pagan idols.
I don't think that they're pagan idols. I think what they
You don't
are
think so?
actually, based on the X-rays that I saw, and just what was happening in the region. This is 1,000 years ago. My bet is that this was some type of ritualistic flesh construct. That's probably the most objective way that I can say it without grossing people
Gross.
out. Yeah, but yeah, I think it was involved in like the human sacrifice type stuff,
Ugh.
and I think it was like they made an idol, but not out of like stone or out of crystal or out of anything else, but they used the other materials that they had at their disposal. And so I think it's like everyone's like, oh, what if it's an alien? I'm like, what if it's not? Like,
What if the Spaniards were right?
yeah, like what if the conquistadors were in fact correct?
Justified.
Yeah. And so I've
What
been
if this
seeing a
is
lot.
all man-made horror beyond comprehension, and we should probably, yeah.
The conquistadors are interesting in church history because they're like pirates and treasure hunters, and they want glory and they like to swashbuckle. But like
Sure.
but you can't really accept them because they also were so Catholic that they like wiped out an entire continent of pagans. And
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
which is
like,
crazy.
which is crazy. So it's like you're
The
not going to see
efficiency.
Disney making a fun conquistador movie starring
Yeah, you just
Benedict Cumberbatch anytime soon.
no, definitely not. Definitely
Yeah.
not. Yeah, they'll make a fun movie about the Protestant pilgrims coming to America, but they won't make a fun movie about the Catholics. No.
No, but ours is way
No.
more exciting,
Oh my gosh, it
don't
involves
you
so much
think?
swashbuckling. The
So much,
Protestant coming to
so much
America just involves
swashing,
Quaker.
so much buckling.
It's just like they're just you
Protestants coming
can't
to
drink.
America. When Catholics came to America, they had swords and guns and ships and horses and the gospel. And when Protestants came to America, they brought women in long dresses and men chewing on tobacco,
The men
and
should
they
be in
brought
long
no
dresses
alcohol. The men should be in long dresses, and they
and be
brought
priests and monks.
what did they bring? They invented they brought Thanksgiving, and I mean, I'm really struggling to think like the Plymouth Rock and the landing. They brought those little hats with the buckles on them, right? That's
Yes,
cool, I
the
guess.
buckle hats
The buckle
that
hats. Don't
you
see
can
those
those are
anymore.
really easy to make out of, you tape those on your head when you're a kid.
Oh
We
yeah.
all we all
You
had
give me
some pilgrim hats.
you give me one of those, and you give me a 5-finger turkey, and I'm contento for an afternoon leading up to
We
parent
really we
teacher
really do
conferences.
stop the hand turkey when we turn a certain age, and
Yeah,
that's a
that's a tragedy.
why do we stop the hand turkey? The hand is the perfect
Turkey.
accoutrement to make a turkey. You know,
I
we
think
got to make
every
more
one of
hand
us,
turkeys in this world
as we go through our day, we should look down at our hands
and make a
and
little turkey.
gobble gobble.
I was thinking about the conquistadors today. I think about the
You were
conquistadors very often. I was thinking
really?
about the conquistadors today, yes, because we were here first. Did you know that? This was a friendship ending fight for me and my friend Matthew in elementary school.
Rough.
The oldest city in America. Do you know what the oldest city in America is?
St. Augustine, Florida.
San Augustino, Florida, baby. It is.
Oh,
It is. And yet in school, we are taught about the oldest English settlement, Jamestown.
yeah.
What a lame name for a city, huh?
Them fools talking about Roanoke like I'm supposed to know what that means. Get out of here.
It means nothing.
It means nothing to me.
First Catholic Mass in the New World celebrated in San Augustino, Florida. And you can go there and you can go to a Mass there today. It's great. We were here first. We did a little trail across the bottom of the country. And then we were like, hey, pagans want to learn about Jesus? And they were like, no, we're going to kill you.
Oh.
We were like, no.
Oh, no, don't do it.
And the Pilgrims got here and they were like, we'll cut your hair off if you give us corn. there was really no exchange there.
Yeah,
you know?
There really wasn't an exchange. It was like, we're gonna live next to you until we decide that we want to live on your land, and then we're gonna kill you. Yeah. Whereas with the Catholics, it was like, hey, what's up? We got the gospel. Do you wanna be friends? And then it was just an immediate no, we're gonna start killing you. And so I think because the Protestants came in a little bit less hot, well, they had fewer items, right? Like if imagine you're in your wigwam and you're living in your life and you see a guy on a horse in armor and he's got gold and he's got spices and he's got, and he's speaking in this language and you're like, whoa, this is either a god or something that is here to kill me.
Yeah.
Right. So that makes a lot of sense why they either converted or they attacked him. But if you imagine you're in your teepee up north, and you're there and you're about to go out on the hunt or whatever, you're leaving the long house to go gather some whatever, and you see a man cresting a hill in a buckle hat. You're like, this guy poses no threat to me. There's no threat to me at all.
Turns out the first guy was gonna preach the gospel and let you keep your culture. The second guy came up with smallpox blankets. So that's
we should. The church should really think more about how it presents itself. Don't you think?
Definitely.
I think we have maybe an image problem.
I will correct your understanding first.
Please.
The Native American persecutors of the Christians were sophisticated. They figured out.
Oh, they were.
Yeah. They learned. They knew so much about the Catholic faith that St. Isaac Jogues. I think it was St. Isaac Jogues.
Yeah, you're right.
They knew that he couldn't celebrate Mass if he didn't have these two fingers, and so they cut off those two fingers.
Yeah.
And so he had to receive special permission.
They did not cut them off. They chewed them off. I need you to be accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote an article about this guy on Life Team in 2017.
You did?
I think I know. I know what the hell I'm talking about.
I'm a little bit of an expert. But anyway, I was reading a book today. I'm finishing my third or fourth G.K. Chesterton book this year.
Goodness gracious!
I am becoming insufferable.
Is that why your belly is growing exponentially day by day?
I'm Dead Sea maxing. I'm King K. Rool maxing. Okay.
Yes, indeed. People were really uncomfortable with our description of that man last week.
I don't understand why. He was an absolute glorious fabrication of God.
Nothing wrong with that man. I will say.
His body is a temple. All right, and baby, that thing's bigger than the dome of St. Peter's. I tell you what. You drop some rose petals in that thing. Swing the incense back and forth. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So Chesterton in The Ball and the Cross. This is it's a really funny story about an atheist and a Christian.
Oh.
About an atheist and a Christian. The atheist runs a newspaper and he blasphemes the Blessed Mother in the newspaper, and the Christian is like so offended that he breaks the window and challenges the man to a duel. And the atheist is like,
based.
You're in front of the judge. He's like, I'm not going to fight this guy. Even if he calls me a coward, I'm not going to fight him. And then later he's like, you're darn right, I'm going to fight you. We're going to fight right now. We just can't tell them that. We're going to come to blows. and so they're about to duel, and
So they come to
they keep getting
blows.
thwarted. They keep getting thwarted because
Oh,
it's
okay.
illegal to duel in England, and so every chapter is like them almost dueling, and then them having to join forces to run away together. It's
Oh yeah,
really
that's
funny.
funny. That is funny.
It's
Yeah.
they're constantly getting into these
Wacky scenarios.
shenanigans, wacky
Yeah.
scenarios where they're like, "Oh, we have to team up, and we can't duel right now because if we
Uh-huh.
do, then one of the person who survives is going to get arrested."
If they had
Anyway,
trench coats back when G.K. Chesterton was alive, he would write a story about two guys stacked on top of each other in a trench coat for sure. He's that type of dude.
for sure, for sure. If they had trench coats back then,
Imagine
which of
if he
course they
tried to do
didn't.
that. If someone got on his shoulders and it's just like the widest base of a trench coat that you've ever seen in your life. A guy shaped.
I'm picturing our accountant sticking out of the top, little rascal, and he's just the biggest badonk, G.K. Chesterton, a rat underneath him. You know what I mean?
It's just like a guy shaped like an Erlenmeyer flask. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. That's what you were waiting for. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
That's good.
That's all I wanted to say.
The punchline, one of the punchlines that I haven't finished it. I'm on the last chapter, but the punchline of the story is that they get to the end of their journey and they're locked up in an insane asylum, and it turns out that
No,
this was all part of a ruse, so
no.
that they were captured and they were kept there, and they were used as an excuse for the head of the insane asylum to push legislation through parliament that made you had to get legally certified sane to be allowed out in public. So you had to prove you were not insane. Anyway, long story
Like a
short,
Clockwork Orange.
sort of, yeah. And so like the punchline is McKeon, the Christian. He goes and he's like, I realized something. I was wrong to fight you. And the atheist goes, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't think it would have been right. I think if I had killed you, it would have been a venial sin. And the atheist is like, well, thanks for that. Which I think is really funny. It
That is
wouldn't be
funny.
a mortal sin, it'd just be venial. And he was like, yeah, because like he says the church always goes mad. Like I understand that. The church always goes a little insane. He's like the Inquisition and the St. Bartholomew Massacre. I don't know what that is, but it's probably recent. Like, okay, fine, the Inquisition, the Crusades, the Galileo thing. They always go a little bit crazy in defense of the faith. But whenever the church goes crazy, the world responds by going even crazier, just absolutely bananas. And so his thing was like, I was crazy to challenge you to a fight, but it's spiraled out of control to where the world's response to my fight is to declare everyone insane until proven innocent, until proven sane, right? And I think that's that's like that's kind of how I'm thinking about we brought up the conquistadors. Like the response to the conquistadors is, okay, they were probably a little zealous, probably a little overzealous in killing the bloodthirsty pagans. They probably went a little too far. But like our response is to like deface statues of Junipero Serra and declare the entire Christian project one big evil, Anyway.
In this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. You ever seen that clip from The Sopranos?
Yeah.
There's a whole episode of The Sopranos where the Italians and the Native Americans squabble over Christopher Columbus. It's very funny.
Is Christopher Columbus the guy that the guy's talking about when he's like, what about all those people he killed? Or he was the best guy around. What murder?
What murder?
me with the conquistadors.
Yes.
What murder?
What murder? I'm trying to take that clip and I want to make it into a video about guys who have only read the Psalms but not the story of King David. It's a woman saying, what about all the people he killed? He's the best guy around. What murder? Like you don't know that he killed somebody. You just read the Psalms. But I can't figure out how to like frame it yet. We'll get there. It's noodling. It's saved. I've got like 10 of those cooking where I'm just like, once I crack this nut, it's gonna be over for you fools.
Just workshop them with me and I'll plug them into a meme that I've seen.
Oh, so you'll take my glory.
No, you can just do it yourself. I'll just tell you what to do. We have the same Instagram account. I don't understand where the credit lies here.
I just get so mad when the stuff that you post is better than the stuff that I post. you know?
Well, I mean, you don't post very much.
That's what I mean.
I have so many more flops than I do successes.
I do
It's just
think
you gotta
I do think my average is higher than yours because I'm like
probably.
I'm like a sniper rifle instead of like a water gun like you know.
Yep.
Tiny little super soaker over in Florida trying to make an impact. No, you're doing great. I'm proud of you. I love you.
It's very fun.
I do need to post more. Anyway, I want to talk about the topic of the day,
The
if that's
world
all right
going
with you.
insane.
The world going insane, which we've already sort of addressed. But you watched the video that I sent you, correct?
Yeah, I saw that video of Tim Apple and Mother Nature.
Yeah. So if you don't know, there's an Apple event. It doesn't matter. It's not important. But one of the most important thing out of the Apple event was Apple, if you don't know, is a technology company based out of San Bernardino, California. I just thought maybe for some of our international listeners.
I like the idea that there's someone out there who doesn't know what Apple is, even though Apple knows everything about them.
Yeah, so there's this guy named Steve Jobs, and he had a pancreas.
That's
important. Remember that for
guy
later.
had a rough job with his pancreas.
He had a rough job
He
with the
actually had
pancreas.
2 because he paid for it. He was able to get a new pancreas quicker than he would have if he did not have
billions of dollars. Yeah, he jumped to the front of the line.
Turns out
so Apple had an event, and one of the things that they did at the event was they had this video, and I encourage you to watch it. The link is in the description. Ryan, it's under Tim Apple's Twitter page. You can go find it. But it's this 5-minute video. It's a skit. It's a sketch. And I saw this sketch, and to be frank, it enraged me. And
I watched it and I knew it would. I was like, Ethan's probably just fuming at this right now.
Because there's a lot of really interesting stuff that's underneath the surface of it. But if we can just talk about the surface level of it. So the plot of the video is it's the Apple team getting together, and it's Mother Nature's annual visit to the Apple complex. And it's all the Apple leadership team promising about all the things that they're doing to help the environment. That's basically what the video is.
I love that.
But
I love the implication. I love it.
But
I love the implication that
before we get into that,
corporations are under the thumb of some like mystical deity the answer to. It's funny. I like it.
But before we get into that, I just wanted to say how absolutely insane. For whatever reason, anybody who's currently right now in between the ages of 35 and 45 should not be allowed in a writer's room. You should not be allowed to write anything. You should not be allowed to make jokes. You should not be allowed to cast actors in skits.
This was done during the writer's strike. So all the people that are paid to do this full time were out.
And let me tell you what, you can tell because the CEO, Tim Apple, is sitting at the table, and in this sketch, they think it's appropriate for the CEO of the world's most profitable company of all time to be just sitting there saying, "Hi, my name is Tim." Like practicing that this woman, this Gaia figure is so powerful and so scary that Tim Apple has to practice saying his name.
His own name.
It's not because Tim Apple has anything wrong with him. It's because millennials can't fathom anybody having self-confidence. And that's what drives me insane.
That's the part that got you.
That's the thing that makes me so mad. It's like they can't fathom someone not needing to be nervously squirming in their seat.
When I watched it, I was wondering if it was going to be the climate change thing or the fact that
it's all of that stuff too.
They said their goal was to eliminate. Ben, I need you to fact check something for me. They said their goal was to eliminate carbon from the atmosphere. No qualifiers.
They want to extinguish all human life. They want to get rid of all of us.
They didn't even play that like it was a joke or a mistake. They just said our goal is to eliminate carbon from the atmosphere. And I was like, hold on. You can't do that.
Wait a minute. I'm carbon.
I'm carbon. I breathe it out all the time. What do you mean?
There you go. It's going. Okay, can't grab it.
I breathe out. My Apple phone goes.
Oh, okay. So now that we have the
Anyway,
millennial
sorry.
complaint,
I
we
was
have the
wondering if it
writing.
was that.
The writing complaint is out of the way, but I just think it's absolutely insane how the people of that generation view the world in such a way that they're so terrified. So this is kind of into the thing about the mother nature. So, and I the way that she's, so I want to talk about her being like a deity, and then I want to talk about the way that she's portrayed in the actual boardroom. So she comes in, obviously she's a black woman, because why not? And you got to do it. It would be sacrilege if they did anything else. But the way that she talks, so she has this line at the beginning where she's like, "Yeah, this is my third, my third meeting today. This better be good. You guys better not disappoint me." And the thought is like, okay, is this like, I heard that and I was like, is that what these like 30 and 40-year-old liberals think that God is actually like? Like their only frame of reference for like an almighty authority figure is like a disappointed boss.
Yeah.
Which is like, it was heartbreaking. Actually, it was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. Is like the only way that you can comprehend any type of like parental or maternal
deity,
or
like,
paternal like authority, or maybe even like love, but it's not love. There was no love at all in this whole thing. It was all just like
no, it was servitude.
Servitude and obligation. Like the only way that they can conceive of it is like a slightly disappointed, sassy black queen telling you that you're not doing good enough.
Yeah.
And that was their depiction of like this almighty figure. And I really thought that was telling.
It was helpful for me.
Yeah.
Because I am often told that the God we believe in is too harsh. I believe that the God they believe in is harsher and worse.
And this is crazy.
More annoying, I would say. I think like that. I don't want to spend eternity with that.
No.
I didn't even want to spend 2 years with that. If you know, you know.
And I'm busting at the seams about this because the idea that's encased in this whole thing, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because I think that this video reveals a lot about the technocratic, leftist, bureaucratic regime, and like the people who subscribe to it. Yeah. Tim Apple says at the end, something to the effect of, we still have a long ways to go. We still have a lot of progress.
No. Yeah, I heard that and I was like, you son of a gun! You said the words. What possibly could you do? Like if he's like, our goal is to make everything carbon neutral. Great, and we have a long ways to go after that. Like, what do you mean? Mm-hmm. Is that not it? Is that not done? Is it now carbon negative? What are we going to do?
This is the whole thing. Bro. This is about the whole thing about their ideology is that there's no, and this plays into your complaint about like, why would I want to spend eternity with that? Is because that there's no clearly defined end. There's no end for people who who subscribe to this ideology. It's just
progress.
Progress. Yeah. That's endless. There's nowhere like even eliminating all carbon from the atmosphere is not enough. It's like, if they got to that point,
I googled it because I was like, am I just an idiot? Is carbon not naturally part of the atmosphere? I was like looking it up and I was like, okay, carbon dioxide is certainly naturally part of the atmosphere. Maybe,
you got to have it.
Maybe carbon emissions are just straight carbon. Like, is that what it is? Is carbon emissions are just straight carbon? And so we want to eliminate all carbon. But like, how would one eliminate only just carbon? I don't. It was very perplexing. Again, please, if someone has a PhD in carbon, DM the bit.ly/crunch Discord because I was very confused by this. I spent 20 minutes looking it up before I came. It's why I was late to the podcast. It baffled me. She said it so confidently. She's like, yes, we're going to eliminate all carbon from the atmosphere. And I was like, hold on.
I also wanted to stop the presentation and be like, you guys make phones. You don't make... Yeah. You don't make carbon sucking devices. That's not your bag. That's true.
Well, they ship them and they make them in factories that use electricity and they package them They got mad about leather too, which was another
Yeah, that
thing.
was funny.
And I was
Yeah.
like, you can make stuff out of cows. We've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, it's
Feel
also
like that's
crazy to
cool.
be like, "Oh, we gotta stop leather." Leather is the one thing, like, you can make more. It's a renewable resource, you know? Like,
Cows always have skin, and we're gonna
ca
eat it anyway, so we might as well use the skin.
it's crazy to me to be like, "We gotta stop using leather." Why? Because 'Cause we're gonna run out of cows? It's like, what? I get maybe, like, you think it's inhumane, but it's not.
There's probably some, like, math about how, like, leather uses too much water or something, and it's like, "Look, if you can't explain it to me in 5 minutes, don't explain to me why I should care about it, alright? We've been using
Right.
leather forever.
Mhm.
Oh, no, we shouldn't make it in big old factories. Great, cool, agreed. Let's just make it ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's have Johnny down the street do some leather tanning. He's got some cows. They have pretty
Mhm.
nice skin. They moisturize. I bet we could tan that bad boy, make a nice little belt, make a wristwatch strap. What
Dude,
about
sometimes
alligator skin? Use that.
sometimes I think about
Plenty
the
of that.
life of a piece of leather, and it's like you're on a cow, you're having a good time. Cow dies, you're still there, you get peeled off, you get stretched on a rack in the sun, and you get hit with a stick, and then you
Yeah,
get to be on a guy's foot forever, and it's
forever.
like, "Wow,
And he's like, yeah,
you
that
really
ages
did
really
it."
well.
Yeah.
My I have a bag. I have a leather bag that I got. Have you seen it? Have you seen my leather bag?
I've seen it. It is,
Oh, it's
I bet
nice.
all the boys whistle at you when you walk by.
Oh yeah, they love my man purse. It is a fashionable bag. It is perfect and it is nice and leathered. And the leather it just keeps getting better with age. Polish it
Mm,
sometimes. It's very nice. It's one of the nicer
ooh,
things that I own. I got it for my
really?
birthday. Yeah,
Aw.
yeah. And
Well,
it gets softer with age. Yeah.
don't tell Mother Earth that you did that.
I
Uh,
won't. She
the
apparently is not omniscient, so I guess I don't have to.
yeah, gosh.
It's funny to me that a deity would need to attend an
Uh,
annual review.
but that's the other thing, right? Like those this whole skit just just reveals like something about it. People have been dunking on it left and right. And I get it. It's a skit. It's funny. It's whatever. But something about it, I feel like reveals how these people think. Everything is bureaucracy. Everything is just a
The
business.
divine bureaucracy.
What does that
I
mean? You said
love
that
it.
like I should know what that is.
We talked about this with the movie Soul about how like
How do you remember? That
the
was 3 years ago.
no, I think because I think about it all the time. I mean, The Good Place was the same way. It's just the system
Oh
of
yeah.
government that you are under changes how you perceive heaven.
That's true.
And
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
that's why kingdoms and like
Hmm.
I mean that's just biblical, right? Like
Hmm.
God's like,
Hmm.
I'm your king, I'm your judge, right? Like
Yeah.
he would analogize himself to the the system of government,
Hmm.
but he's not a bureaucracy, right? So I think kind of like
Right.
the flip of that means like we should probably model our governments the way that God orders himself and his and heaven.
Hmm.
Um, and he's not a bureaucracy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I just can't. It's no wonder that these people are sad all the time. Because
Yeah.
because if you think about it, it's like the thing that is the main goal of your life, which is to fix the environment. Like that's the most noble goal that these people have is solving climate change. Even that has no discernible end, so they're always chasing after something that they'll never get to. And
Hmm.
the best that they can hope for, like the highest in this skit, like the highest possible place to be in humanity, the closest you can be to the Godhead in the Holy of Holies is a boardroom meeting. Like, so that's all you have to aspire for.
Where you could get in trouble.
Where you can, yes, where a black woman can scold you. Like, this is the dream that they have. Is like, I'm gonna get to a place where I'm never gonna be fulfilled, and I'm working, and the rules are always changing at the whims of someone
Of the
else,
ruler. Yeah.
of the
And
ruler,
my
right? Like,
And
That sounds like
my
hell to
yeah,
me, you know?
my effective or my happiness or my contentment is determined by how well I conform to the machine, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what a bureaucracy is. It's
Mhm.
incentivizing behaviors so that you act in a certain way. And it's like they're not even propelled forward by in this skit. They're not even propelled forward by morality or by nobility. I think you're wrong in that. I don't think they're in the skit at least they're not propelled forward by morality. They're not even propelled forward by a sense of duty. They're propelled forward by like fear of petty retribution. It's not even
Yeah.
punishment.
Yep.
They're not there's no like insinuation that Mother Nature was going to harm them or take away apple from them. It was their only it was like it was clear that even if they weren't doing the right thing, she was just kind of gonna like glare at them a little bit, like, oh, you're gonna
Right.
get rid of all carbon by 2050 when it doesn't even matter to you anymore because someone else is in charge now. And it's like,
Mhm.
so if they had said that, you would have just been like rolled your eyes and left.
Yeah.
It's just like that's hell. The worst thing that could happen is just being kind of like not approved of by your
Well,
boss.
no, I mean, I think even it's that, but even deeper than that, it's like a liberal's worst nightmare is is not being approved of by a black woman, you know? Like
Sure, yeah,
actually,
maybe.
like if you take it to the extreme of the way that they have kind of shifted and contorted themselves
Mhm.
around the BLM cause and the feminism cause,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all of that is kind of wrapped up in that figure. And
Mhm.
it's like the lengths that people will go to not offend a black woman, the lengths that
Yeah.
people will go to not to feel like a white person will like. Do you remember that thing where the during the George Floyd where Nancy Pelosi and all these other Congress people were like had the shawls around their necks and they were like kneeling in the in like the Capitol? Do you remember this?
No.
It's like an iconic photo. It's crazy that you don't remember it. But
I'll look it up.
they all went to the I think it was the Capitol building, all these white Congress people. And they were all wearing African accoutrement and they kneeled down and they were basically doing this like there was a lot of this where there were people were doing these public acts of like humiliation, like the humiliation ritual to like appease themselves to black people to like apologize for the George Floyd killing. It was
Yeah, is
very,
this
very strange.
I've seen
And
this, yeah, but is it not I mean, it can't possibly be them praying.
I don't know if they're praying. I don't think they're actually I don't think they're praying at all. I think what they're doing is they are effacing themselves in front of the BLM movement or whatever it was at the time. Like they are publicly submitting and like yeah saying our whiteness is less than your blackness and we're sorry. And it's like wow. That is it's baked in.
Just kinda silly. It's just kinda silly. It's
It's
not
kind of
like
silly because
yeah.
it's not
It's just
should
identity politics. Like, what is this,
yes right. Racism is wrong. No, you shouldn't have to say that. You should not be prejudiced against someone based on their race. But like to say that an entire race of people is bad and needs to subjugate themselves underneath another race of people because the first race had done something wrong in previous generations is just ludicrous. It doesn't make any sense. And so that that to me is baked
well,
into
and
this
it's and
whole
it does
climate
make
thing.
it
Yeah.
does make sense. It does make sense because it's
It makes
like
sense from a
it's
certain worldview,
yeah,
not from ours.
it makes sense because it allows all revolutions are a way to appease angry masses while maintaining the status quo. Okay? So like the French Revolution was a way to to appease the angry masses and
Mhm.
yet the same set like the the middle class like the people who had enough money to be aristocratic but couldn't because of blood they overthrew and then the aristocrats they were like for we should be in liberty and free to do whatever we want and the aristocrats were like cool well yeah we'll join the revolution take down the king. Hell yeah. And they're just like chilling because they have the money and they were on the side of the revolution, right? And and then some people ascend the ladder in the new regime, etc. And so that's just what that's what the progressive wing of liberalism needs to do, is
Mhm.
allow the I think it's just become more obvious and more systematic over time, where the ruling class understands they have to lose in order to win, and they're willing. I mean, there's that maxim, right? You can either be right or you can be rich, and they're willing to efface themselves in order to I mean, I do this in sales meetings sometimes when people are like, it's people will yell at me, they'll call me back, and I'll be like, yeah, I'd like to meet with you about blah blah blah. And they're like, no, your sales, blah 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 blah. And that, like, all the salesmen, you all the same, whatever. What I want to say and what I'm not going to is, sir, you called me back. What were you gonna do? Like, you called me back because you thought I was a potential customer. So you were going to try and sell me
Sell me
something.
something.
So what's the
Oh,
difference between what we're doing right now? Nothing. And I
yeah.
could say that and I would be right, but I would never get a sale from that. So what's
Yeah,
the
but it'd be
point?
cool. It'd be cool to do once. It'd be cool to
And
do one
that's
time.
and that's why I did it once when I was a waiter. I did the clap back once when I was a waiter, and now I have the story. But
Tell the story. Tell the story, man, real quick.
I've told the story, but
Tell it very briefly,
this
man.
woman kept demanding a spoon, and I was like taking orders, and I was going to get her a spoon. And she was like, "And get me my spoon." Like, she said that. And I said, "Ma'am, I am going to need you to say please." And she was very upset. I knew she was a teacher, and so I knew she had said that before to a student, because every teacher says that. And she was very upset, and her friends thought it was funny, and everybody in the restaurant thought it was funny. I offered to pay for her meal to my manager, because I was
Um,
like, "Hey, I'm cool with it. It's my responsibility. I'll man up and take the well." But he was like, "That was hilarious. Never do it again." And so but did I tell you that I got like verbally, physically threatened over the phone last week? Did I tell you about that?
you told me that a guy called you a vacuum for a genital.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Is that
yeah.
what
And
you're
he
talking
told me he was
about?
gonna come find me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get a clap back with that one, because he was like
Yeah.
yelling at me and cursing at me, and I managed to get in. Sir, most people just hang up. And that was fun.
It's crazy where people are like, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna come get you. It's like, all right, do
I
it.
I called your business. I Googled your phone number and your home address came up. Why are you telling me? Why are you threatening a stranger? That's so dumb. So dumb.
Yeah.
My address doesn't come up when you Google my phone number.
Well,
Anyway,
we've learned a lot today. Patrick and I are gonna go threaten some strangers on an episode of another podcast. It's
yeah.
the same
I
podcast, it's just a
I I
different
don't
episode.
I need to make sure I don't have any more thoughts on this, because oh, no, that was the thought. It was like, they recognize this is the I mean, you guys know me, right? I'm sympathetic to areas of progressivism and sympathetic to areas of conservatism. It's all part of the same project, where the conservatives are scripted as the losers, and the reason they can never win is because they can't do the humiliation ritual. And if they do, then they're just liberals,
Well,
you know?
they can't do either. Conservatives can't win because they can't do either. They can't do the humiliation ritual, and they also can't seize power with violence and force. Like those are the like
Yeah.
which the liberals are also willing to do. The liberals are willing to do both. Like they are
Mhm.
willing to do the humiliation ritual, and they're also willing to put you in jail for questioning the results of an election, or for not getting some guy's in jail right now because he was posting memes about the insurrection, and he's in jail right now. Like, it's just the whole vaccine thing that came up. You're not allowed to be in certain places. People lost their jobs because of that being enforced, and it's like the conservatives lose because they're not willing to go to the same lengths, and so then they're always stuck in this like, oh, and that's like, man, I mean, prove it. Like, prove all the things that you're going to
Yeah.
say if you're going to say them. So I just have a podcast. I don't want to stir the pot. I just want to throw a couple
I'm
chives in it. You
chilling.
know what I'm
I'm
saying?
chilling from the outside looking in. I'm above all of this. I'm
Yeah, we're
above
Catholic.
politics.
We don't need to be involved with politics.
You guys decided you didn't want us to be a part of this. We got here first, and you're
Yeah.
like, "We got this from here." I saw a Twitter thread that was mentioning the conquistador thing, and someone was like, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence was Catholic. I'm like, that's fine. The president is Catholic. Who cares? They don't want us here. You know, they've never wanted us here. Once we assimilate. Bonjiden.
We do a lot of things here at the Crunch Enterprise. We've got an Instagram page where we're very active. You can follow us at the Crunchcast. But the most important thing that you can do is support our work on Patreon. We are trying
this episode,
with all that we have, like all of my energy, all of my might, all of my force, all of my power is going towards creating a show and creating a network and creating a community where Catholicism and the views of the Catholic Church are understandable and attractive to as many people as possible. We try to use humor. We try to use the intellect. We try to use current events. That's why we make a
great team, because I'm understandable.
And I'm attractive.
You're understandable and I'm attractive.
Okay. Yeah, you said it backwards. You said it wrong.
I switched it.
We try to use all these things to create a case in a very human way for the Catholic Church. And if you think that that's a worthwhile cause, that's why we're doing this. And that's why we ask for money on Patreon, so that we can do it more and do it better. We've recently upgraded a lot of parts about our operation. We're paying an accountant. We're paying.
I got a new pancreas.
Patrick got a new pancreas, like beef jobs. We're paying for some subscription services online that makes it easier for us to record and upload. Patrick thinks he's still funny as always.
I think that it's funny to refer to organ transplants as I got it used.
Yeah, secondhand
like,
shop.
How else would you get it?
Yeah.
How else would you get it?
It'd be funny to buy a hand at the secondhand shop, because really it'd be your third hand, you know? So they would need a third hand shop for you. Anyway, if you like what we're doing, if you enjoy the show, maybe you've been a listener for a long time, $5 a month would really, really go a long way. So go to patreon.com/thecrunch. Sign up. When you join, you get access to an exclusive channels in Discord for patrons only. You sign up at $10 a month, you get access to over 50 bonus episodes that we've done that all exist on the Patreon page.
Including our virtual pilgrimage to the Holy Land, and then you also get an extra exclusive Discord channel. So that's crazy.
Right. So please consider it. We're really trying to do something big here. We're trying to make a difference. We're trying to make a case for the church that the pseudo Protestants on Instagram are not making. So,
and if you work at a Newman Center or a college campus ministry and didn't get an email from us and feel left out and go, oh man, I could have got an email from the Crunch guys. Oh no. First of all, check your spam or email me at patrick@thecrunchcast.com.
Yes. We're doing book a live show with us. We're doing live shows all over the country. Book a live show right now.
And if you book one and then you refer another Newman Center in your area, we'll give you both a discount.
We'll give you a discount because it's free. Well, it's kind of free, but you know what I'm saying.
But it's like easy for us to get, like if you're at the Oratory in Pittsburgh and you get like, you know, Slippery Rock University to do a live show, we'll just drive an hour to Slippery Rock.
We'll just like drive an hour to Slippery Rock. It'd be so great. It'd be so amazing. It'd be so cool.
I guess Franciscan would have also been a good.
Franciscan would also be there, but we just want to do live
shows. If any of you work at Franciscan, tell them you want to do the live show, but don't tell them that I do the podcast, because I don't think they like me anymore.
I don't think they like me either. Nobody likes me. Nobody hires me for speaking events anymore.
I owe Franciscan money. Never finished paying for my master's degree.
I can't hear what you're saying, but I love you so much.
I didn't finish paying for my master's degree.
Oh, you didn't? No. What do you mean? I thought your master's degree was paid for.
I have like $400 balance on my account, and they're like, Patrick, you owe us $400.
Just see how long you can get away with not paying it.
I'm thinking about that.
That'd be really funny. Oh, okay. That's been our show. Patrick, do you got anything else for the people?
Hey, if anybody has $425 lying around, I'd really like my master's degree.
Thank you all for listening. Please pray for us. We will be praying for you, and we will see you next week.